Greetings everyone and welcome back. Today we're going to be checking out a very, very addictive little tower defense come roguelite, very strong emphasis on meta progression that I've been losing myself to for the past several weeks. This is Nordhold, as you can see over here. Now, in a little bit more detail, as per the Steam blurb, enemies are coming, every decision matters, build your city, grow the economy and prepare for enemy waves, strengthen your defense, adapt your strategy and unleash your hero's full potential. This unique tower defense will test your skills. Are you worthy to claim your place in Valhalla? Now, the first thing I'm going to draw attention to there is the unique. Unique is a very strong word, given that this is basically Viking-themed rogue tower, though I will now the funny is out there, I'm going to walk that back and say that's incredibly reductive. Nordhold is in my opinion, an evolution of the idea that was put forth in the game Rogue Tower. Some of you may be familiar with that. I played a little bit of it on the channel, and I've streamed it a couple of times. But in Rogue Tower, rather than having the kind of the traditional setup for tower defenses where the path is already in place, the map is set and you can adjust the path by placing towers and so on and so forth. In Rogue Tower, the map was built tile by tile, wave by wave, and you made choices, and the tiles themselves, which had the path built on them, were procedurally generated. So you could end up with very easy paths, or you could end up with nightmare branching monstrosities. Your job was then to decide where in the non-path sections of each tile you would place your towers for maximum effect. Nordhold takes that idea and enhances it in more or less every way you could enhance it. The tiles are more detailed, there's more tactical options, the tiles are a different shape, and so there's potential for way more branches to happen, which, you know, while making it harder, does make it a lot more interesting, but also adds a very different component. In Rogue Tower, you just had the waves. Between the waves, you might get a reward, a new tower, or an upgrade to a tower. But in Nordhold, you have a village, and between the combat waves, you have your building phase, where you work on the village, you improve your economy, the economy that was mentioned, and generally upgrade your capacity to then build towers and then tackle the next wave. As with everything, though, it is always so much easier for me to show than to describe. I have gone to the effort of resetting my meta progress, so we're going to be starting from the very, very beginning. Disregard this, it'll get overwritten as soon as we do anything. This is basically just a leaderboard, kind of a echo now from what I had done previously, because I had reset this once before when I streamed it for the Dapplings over on Twitch. By the way, you can find links to that down below. But with all that said and done, let's go ahead and just dive in both feet first and see what Nordhold has to offer. Now, we're going to have to go through a little bit of a tutorial, or we could actually just skip it. I'll keep the tutorial up. It's not very long, and it will cover a couple of the things. So, your first tower. Build your first tower on one of the hex fields to defend the village against the coming wave of enemies. The more height is crucial, or rather, height is crucial. The towers on higher hex fields have more range. Build an arrow tower. Now, currently, we cannot build most of these because they are locked behind honor. Honor is our meta currency. All right, so we're going to obviously just take that advice as it is and pop you on the highest tile we've got. And you can see the difference. This is a 0 height tile, I guess. Then 1, then 2, then 3, and 4. And 4 is pretty amazing. Let's see. 4 there has the same range of the 2, but so much further in the future. Now, we're going to plonk that down right there. It costs us 10 wood. No towers without an economy. To further expand your defense, your workers must gather resources. Click on the lumberjack camp. This is your first resource building. Here, your workers can gather wood. Assign your workers. You can do it over here. You can do it in there. I prefer to do it over here always. There we go. By pressing explore, the battlefield expands with a random tile. Enemies always appear at the end of the path. Very well. Right, now, as you can see, this is one of the big things that I was talking about. The shape of the tiles is different. You can potentially end up with a tile. There'll always be a point leading back to you, but potentially you could have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 exits or well, 5 entrances, 1 exit on every tile. That can lead to some very, very crazy shenanigans. Now, this is our town. Very beautiful place over here. Love the aurora. Some buildings, not all of them can be seen yet. A lot is locked behind meta progress, but we will, of course, get there in time. But we'll just go ahead and follow along with the tutorial for now. So we'll open this up. You can speed things up. I'll keep it on regular speed just for the tutorial, just so that we can go over what's happening. You can actually get, oh, well, I didn't manage to show that properly, but you can get a little bit of information about the enemies as well. But very quickly you find you don't need it. You just, at a glance, information. The health point at the top is pretty much the only thing you're looking for. Boost economy further. Workers form the backbone of your economic growth. Click the house to proceed. At first, the housing space is sufficient, but later you will need more houses to hire enough workers, and we will need a lot of them. Hire another one right away. There are only 4 houses you can build. Each house allows for 2 workers, unless you go Scandinavian style, in which each house is available for, can house 3. We'll go ahead and hire a worker there. And done. We should be able to pop you straight in there if we want to. Now, we could move forward, or we could place down another arrow tower, and we might well do that in just a moment. One thing I do want to cover, though, is as with many tower defense, or at least the very best of them, you can upgrade the towers. Now, what you see here is not the entire extent to which you can upgrade towers. There's a lot of stuff that you can do here. These are the basic stats, and this is the priority. You can have up to 3 priorities, and I absolutely love this. This is very, very much akin to Rogue Tower, and it was one of the features that I liked the most in Rogue Tower, is just how specific you could tune the priority. So right now, this tower will focus on the enemy with the most health. But let's say that since this is the last in the line, at this point, I want to concentrate on letting the least amount of enemies through. It doesn't matter if an enemy gets through with 1 HP or 100 HP, it'll take the same amount of health off the town. So instead, go for the enemies with the least amount of HP. That way, we can kill them faster. Now, assuming that there are 2 enemies with the same amount of HP, then go as a secondary priority, target the fastest one. Take them out first because you're going to have more time to deal with the other one anyway. And as a tertiary priority, do we have a tertiary priority here? I don't really think we do. Maybe we could focus on the one with the least block. Block is, I believe, their ability to mitigate any damage whatsoever. Oh, there we are. Yeah, accuracy. So basically, they just dodge it. It's effectively dodge. Armor is mitigating a certain portion of the damage they receive, and that is counteracted by penetration. But we'll just go for if all of the, or rather, there's more than one target who's got the same amount of low health, and there's more than one target of those targets that's the same fast speed, then try to find the one that has got the least chance of dodging. And there is a secret 4th priority as well, and that 4th priority is progress. The implicit 4th, the tiebreaker is whoever's in the front. So effectively, you got 4 priorities, but the 4th is always progress. Right, there we go. That is all done. We are going to explore, but I'm going to place down another arrow tower, and I would like the most bang for buck out of this, so I'll place that one there. Now, the thing that we can do here is I could say, use this for all of the towers, arrow towers from now. I've just pressed X, so that means this one has already got exactly the same setup. These are my 2 backup arrow towers. If anything gets down here, just try and thin the numbers as much as you possibly can to reduce the danger to the town. We have got other things to do, but I'm going to let the tutorial get us over to that. Now, if I pause this there for a second, we can get a little bit more information. We've got a bandit here, 100 HP. 1 full pip of green health is up to, I think, 200, but it might just be 100. There's its speed, there's its block, there's its armor. There are some other stats that it might have. Some could be spawners, some could provide shielding to their neighboring enemies, or their allies, I suppose. And those are things that we are going to want to care about in the future. But right now, the only thing we need to look at is their health overall. Right, I would very, very much like to have a look at a couple of other options. We've got tax burden. I can spend 25 gold to force my workers to pay me gold every wave. Look, I don't want to be that kind of landlord, but I'm going to be that kind of landlord. Look, your money helps us keep everyone alive, all right? I'm also going to invest a little bit of wood over here to get a mill up and running, because I would very much like some more workers. And to that end, I'm now going to move 2 of my workers across here. How much do I need for the next hire worker? Yeah, we'll be able to get that with 20. That will do quite nicely. I could invest an extra 60 to get some extra productivity out of our workers, or I could, in fact, place down another tower. We don't really have that many good spots for it, but this one isn't too bad. Now, if we have a look at this, this has already inherited the stats that we want, but now I'm starting to get a little bit further away. I actually have different priorities. I would like to prioritize the highest health enemy, then the fastest, then the least block, because I want to get their health low so these can mop them up effectively. There we go. That should do. And we will are we going to explore again, or are we going to go for the tavern? You know what? Let's go and get the tavern. Look, I'm making them pay taxes. They can at least have a beer. Your current worker productivity is 20%. The tavern is not currently receiving any beer, so they're not going to have a beer. But they've got a nice social place that they can hang out, talk to their friends, complain about the taxes, you know, normal stuff. Right, there we are. Now, that one's very nice. A little bend in the path is going to give us a lot of opportunity there. Right now, everything has got the same amount of health as we do in damage, so it's not really making that much of a difference. But one thing you may notice, or I will showcase in just a second. Ooh, okay, so we just got our banner choice. These are showing our next events, the upcoming events over here. So we've got barbed arrows. Arrows from the arrow tower inflict a bleeding debuff on impact. 4 stacks of it, and it slows by 3%. This is a rare, goes all the way up to legendary. We've got every arrow tower generates wood every wave and strikes with increased damage. Or arrows from the arrow tower deal more damage and have a chance to fire an additional arrow. Now I could reroll, but honestly, getting a slow effect is quite nice. Bleeding causes 1 damage per second and stack size, and each stack lasts 5 seconds. The target moves, well, it says 0% slower there, but we'll take it. But here we go. We've got a level up over here. Great. Your first tower can be upgraded. Click on the tower. Tower upgrades usually cost gold. As you may have noticed on the most recent tower, it costs 15. However, each tower receives a price reduction of 5 gold per wave. Once it reaches 0, it automatically becomes a level up. So we can now choose what we want, or we could say, hey, I always want you to auto level this. But for this one, different towers will have different effects. I could get a little bit of extra range on this, which would actually be quite nice. We'd reach out to there, or I can go for fire rate. I'm favoring fire rate right now since this is our mop-up tower. So I'm actually going to tell this tower, hey, I want you to automatically level up your fire rate from now on, and I want this exact same to be done of you. Both of you automatically level up fire rate. However, you, I'm kind of feeling that I would like you to increase your range moving forward. Either that or damage, possibly both, if I'm perfectly honest. No, I think I'm going to go with range here. Now, there's one other thing that we have unlocked. We've got 24 honor from killing the scallywags out there, and that means we can unlock a new tower type. The Volcano Mortar. Permanently unlock the Volcano Mortar. Fires magma chunks long range, inflicting AoE damage. This is your typical heavy-hitting mortar/rocket turret. Almost every tower defense has one in concert with its rapid-firing low-damage turret. Do we want to spend 20 honor on this or save up for something else? The next one will be 50 honor, but you know what? Let's go ahead. We'll go through this step by step, showcasing each one as we go. Now, this one requires stone. We're not actually gathering any stone yet, but as you can see, this has a very, very long range. And I'm thinking, since this is branching out in this direction, this is probably an okay place to put it, because no matter where this goes, we're going to get some extra use out of it. So sure, we'll pop it here. Well, plus 1.5 range. If we have a look at the stats here, this is a very different beast. So it already does 150 damage. It has an area of effect. Does it actually list the area of effect in here? It does not. Each tower, by the way, will show its total kills and its DPS per wave, which I quite like. Now, we are currently aiming for the most health, but I don't think that's what we want to aim for. With something with an AoE, I wanted to go for the biggest group. Next, I want the group with the most health, or the highest group of healthy enemies for it to attack, and following that, go for the slowest, and then, of course, progress. And I'm going to lock that in for this tower type. Now, every tower will upgrade by different amounts. Each tower kind of has an emphasis, something it is particularly good at. For example, increasing fire rate on a volcano tower does not have much bang for buck, but increasing range has an enormous amount. So we are definitely going to set that one up as the auto level for this tower. Now, where are we going? Oh, that's fantastic. This tower is going to get a hell of a lot of use. I am big happy with this. It's going for the groups. We are now starting to see rogues. They've got 250 HP showing up. These bandits still only have 100, but they're going to take a couple of hits from our towers. They're also a bit faster too. There we go. Now this one is specifically aiming for the healthiest. As we can see, a little bit of bleed damage ticking over. And there we go. You just leveled up automatically. Marvelous. Now then, how much... we don't have that much wood. Also, I forgot to get a new person there, my bad. Next wave, we get hero choice, which is something I'm very much looking forward to. We would now need to increase the houses if we want more workers, and that is definitely something we should do. But I'm instead going to get a quarry, and we're immediately going to pop someone into the quarry. That's going to bring us in 12 stone per turn, which is grand because this is going to take 30 stone to place another one. This one is going to take 40 wood to place another one, which is kind of bad. Right now, I'm going to allow one there to continue building that up, but we need a lot of wood. As you can already probably tell, the towers get more expensive the more of them you build. But it is not based on all towers, it's just based on the tower type. So building more arrow towers will not increase the cost of the mortar towers. That was a solid blow there. Very happy with that. Very happy indeed. Definitely seeing the rogues rushing through, but overall doing a fairly good bit of damage here. Very nice. Got the bleed stack there. There we go. And down. All right, at this point, I think we're safe to increase the speed. We'll pop it all the way up to 4. Right, choose your hero. The randomly generated names, portraits, attributes. Passive attribute. 1 path tiles is minus 50% chance to branch. So it's going to be far easier for us to build a path. Generally speaking, branches are more dangerous because the more branches, the harder it is to push the spawn point further back, thus give you yourself more time. It'll force you to start investing in multiple paths, which can be a bit of a problem. I believe the boss will always spawn on the furthest path, though. This will also bring 40 gold, and there are 2 different types of spells here. Lightning Strike deals 900 damage to an enemy and jumps. Shadow Rain deals 200 damage to the most forward 8 enemies and inflicts weakness. We've got Slice here, brings 1 random common banner, and enemy elites have a 20% chance of showing up, or there's an increased 20% chance. Fireball does 250 damage with a radius, and Devastation kills 4 random enemies, but no elites or bosses. And finally, Askir brings 1 chest and brings 100 wood, just straight up. Has a baseball chain lightning, deals 350 damage to an enemy and jumps to 3 more targets than usual. And Ice Strike deals 150 damage to enemies within a radius and inflicts slow. Elites are nice, though they are dangerous, because when an elite goes down, it will drop a chest which has resources in it. I, as a general, prefer to encourage elites rather than discourage them. So I'm actually going to go for Slays. Let's pick you up. And also, depending on how many new building types you've unlocked in your home, in your town, heroes will have different buffs. For example, we don't yet have the ability to build a market stall or a trade house, a merchant trade house. As a consequence, we don't have heroes showing up who will give you a discount to trade ships. That all unlocks. Right, we've got a common banner. Now, previously, it was only giving us arrow tower banners, but now we've got ones for the volcano tower. They are random. This one could have been for either tower. You will only get banners for towers that you own, obviously. So keeping the amount of towers or tower types low initially can allow you to upgrade those towers quite aggressively. But there is flexibility, tactical flexibility in having lots of different tower types, especially if they apply debuffs. Each volcano mortar begins to uncontrollably throw magma balls at random. Oh, this is not the best one for us. It shoots faster but can no longer be controlled. Fire rate of 45%. Okay, so my volcano tower now doesn't have a priority list, which is a sadness, I'm going to be honest. But the circular one, if we have a look through here, there should be one. Circulating, shoots around wildly. Doesn't really care, just picks whoever. It's just the random option there. That is a bit of a shame, but oh well. Not the best turn up for us, I will confess. Now, well, I wouldn't mind upgrading this a little bit, but we don't have much gold, and gold is coming in slowly. I could increase economy budget. That all building upgrades become 10% and 25% and 40% cheaper as we invest more gold. But I would like to get a gold mine before we go for that. So we're going to allow a little bit more wood to be stockpiled. In fact, going to want that initial stockpile for an hour tower and then probably another mortar next turn. All right, here we go. Everything is charging in. This is just going to randomly pick, so it's not going to get the most bang for buck now, whereas previously it was... Oh, they are actually getting through. Right, let's slow this down. Previously, this was targeting groups, which was very effective for us. Now, I do have a fireball, and I do have devastation. Let's see how this goes. Are you going to be able to stop them? You are not, so I'm going to drop a fireball. Pow. Don't want to have to do that again, but I'm going to keep it in reserve just in case I need it. Well done. And again, well done. Perfect. Okay, we managed to get through this one. But that was a very unfortunate upgrade. It can be very powerful, but you need other upgrades to make that really work. Increases the range of the volcano mortar, reduces the fire rate. No, I'm going to reroll on this one. You only get 2. Reduces the area of effect of the volcano mortar in general, but every 4th shot is much larger. I'm now hunting for a very specific volcano mortar ability. Let's risk it for a biscuit. And we didn't get it. Much sadness. Okay. Okay. Not great. But this will help. Area of effect, since I can't force it to target groups, at least having a larger area of effect means it's more likely to still take several out when it hits them. But I burnt a lot of rerolls on that, which was painful. Now then, let's get a couple of towers down. This one can go here, but much the same as this. I want this one now to focus on high health, so I'm actually going to copy these settings. There we go. And I'm going to paste them here. There we are. It was C and V, very simple. And then I'm going to place down another volcano mortar right in the middle here. This will cover a lot of the tiles that we're going to be seeing. That one, oh, well, actually, there is no priority list here, so... how are we doing? Your range has increased quite nicely. I wouldn't mind your range going up even further. Is there much use to getting your range much further out? Once more, I would say. So I'm going to take this off. That way, this will actually alert me when it wants to level up, and we will push that boundary out once more. That'll get enough use, but I'm wasting too much area around here. A lot of area is being wasted over there. So instead, I'll go start increasing its damage output, I think. Now, how are you doing? Range is going well, building up nicely. I don't know if we really want to push it much further. I'll wait until it's 5, actually, so that's fine. I will, again, let that one go once. But you over here, doing well. We're just going to let you keep going. I see no reason to change anything but the fire rate down there. I think that should work well for us. Right, with that, continuing to upgrade our wheat. I would like a fair old bit of wood next turn. How much are these costing now? 50. That's pretty much the same as building a gold mine. I feel the gold mine is going to be more useful, though. Right, we're into a new biome. New biomes will come with, well, I think it might come with new enemies. But quite often, it will also have new tile types. It's not just the color here, but also the resources that might spawn. We can't really interact with these resources yet, but later on you can. Health bars. The health bars of enemies are color-coded. Green health bars indicate 100 HP per segment. That's not true of the rose. They got 250. Turquoise health bars represent 1,000. So another thing that happens is you start seeing much stronger enemies. This is a raider with 1,000 HP. A bit slower as a consequence, which is thankful. All right, let's see if we can't pop these. That was a very lucky fire from the mortar there. A very unlucky one there, but that's okay. Good amount of damage, but we definitely need a lot more oomph hitting the high health units down here. There we go. You are bleeding, which is great, but that bleeding is not going to last forever. Right, I would very much like you to start dropping your high damage shot on top of these elites, because I am very concerned that they are just going to walk straight through here without much stopping them. I can... Actually, they're not elites. So you know what? I'm going to watch, see if my towers can do this. I've definitely got enough that I can just use this to kill whatever's left. These are not elites. They're just high health enemies, but I would like to see what happens. That was 20 hit points worth of bleeding happening there. Are you going to be able to take them out with bleeding? Yes, you are. You know what? I like it. I like that I didn't need to use my spells. Later on, you might encounter spells that are worth always using because they incrementally upgrade themselves the more times they use. Obviously, in that particular instance, you would want to do it. We are instead going to upgrade the house over here and... says I. 10. This is 10. Sure. I'll pop that. I won't be quite able to afford it this turn, but next turn I'm going to purchase this, and then we will hire a worker. Actually, the worker will be worth it here, but no, we'll wait. We'll wait on it, because I'm not assigning many workers to gathering grain, you see. So I want to hold off on that. This is a perfect place to add in a couple of towers, and this increases range. It's an additional buff on top of the actual height of the tile. So definitely something we want to watch. Let's speed things up all the way to the max speed and just see how this goes. Banner choice at the end of this turn, which I'm very much looking forward to. I'm a little bit concerned with you. We'll see how this goes. Are we going to take them out? We are not. Okay. So I can use this twice. Once, hit the person I wanted. Good. I can't guarantee that I'll take you out. It was very much luck that eliminated you the first time, but I think there's now enough bleed potential here that yeah, one's going to get through, but only one. I'll take it. There is a possibility that this one would have worked, but it was a gamble. Right, okay, so with that, we are next going to upgrade the procreative power, rather, and that is a big improvement there on hiring workers. Let's grab you. Next one is going to be 72, but we desperately need more arrow towers. More and more arrow towers, please and thank you. Now, let's expand you out. We're back into the green zone, but it's not going to remove the powerful enemies, sadly. They are still going to come through, but we've got a lot more firepower now, so they're thinning out much more aggressively. I would like an arrow tower somewhere here, perhaps, to really impact that. Ooh, that's a bit of a problem. Let's remove the chaff down here that are clogging up or distracting my arrow towers from inflicting bleed. There we go. Now, this is going to be a bit of a nasty one. There's a lot down here, and that's an elite. Oh, elites, I believe, count for 2. Are they moving faster than the elite? No, they're moving the same speed. In that case, I want to pop these, or at least do a little bit more damage so that the elite is more likely to be targeted. Weren't able to do enough. We managed to take one out, though. We are at the very last dregs of our life. We've got 1 life point now. We could increase the slow effect of our arrow towers. No longer have a speed. A reroll of speed. But we can banish if I would like to. I'm not interested in the crescendo blast, so we're going to banish that. I am going to take extra stacks of bleeding to see if that can help us. There we go. Now then, boss wave is level 10. Are we in a position to survive that? I'm not sure about that one. We can unlock the arc tower, though. Let's go ahead and unlock that. It's going to be a generally cheap tower to place, though it now starts costing both wood and stone. But that right there is amazing. Now, the arc tower emits lightning that jumps to foes with damage decreasing per jump. We're going to place it here. And I would like to try and thin some of the enemies going through this area. So instead of going for high health, I want them in groups so that there's a good chance of the arc jumping. And I would like them to be low health, or the lowest health. In fact, pick the lowest health in the biggest group. But prioritize low health because the arc can jump quite a way, so I don't think we really need to worry about this one as much. Then focus on the speed. We are going to lock that in for all towers of this type. Now, as for the damage, we can increase it by 20. Range, we can increase by a whole 1 point. That is a big upgrade. Fire rates, it's not a terrible increase, to be fair, but we are going to focus on range for now. That I very much like. Right, this tower has gained a level up. I think this one was range. We were, yeah, this is at the forefront. I'm going to lock that in for auto upgrades on range. You, I want to do pop into range, I think, one more time. Yeah, one more time, and then we're going to switch over to fire rate for you moving forward. Now, you're possibly going to be able to hit some enemies over on this side as well. I can immediately place another lightning tower, though, and I think that is a fantastic idea. We're going to place it right down here. It can cover a massive amount of the path here, and it should follow exactly the same logic there. I don't think increasing range is really going to help me out too much here. So, I think we just focus on fire rate. Let's get the fire rate happening a lot faster. All right. There we go. That's about all that we're going to be able to do there to hopefully save ourselves. We'll find out, though, if that's going to work out the way I hope it will. Let's see how big this area is. So let's slow time down just a little bit. It's a nice little bend there. That's not too bad. And we've got the mortar towers immediately activating, which is great. Now, boss wave. There we go. Yeah. The issue here is that boss has 7,000 HP. Now, if a boss ever reaches the portal, auto loss. Doesn't matter how much health you have. Doesn't matter how many meta progress buildings you've unlocked to give your town more health on the shield. If the boss gets there, any boss, it is instant game over. So you really want to maximize the damage to the boss where possible. We don't really have a lot of towers that can help with that right now, but we have thinned out quite a lot of chaff here. You know what? I'm going to use E to pop the non-boss entities. So now every tower is only going to be focusing on you. Let's keep you in view and just see what we can do. The lightning tower is doing a good bit of damage, but we haven't even brought it low by a quarter. Now that the stacks of bleed are getting involved, I mean, it's nice, but if only we'd been able to get those stacked a little bit faster, would have been grand. But alas, that's it for us. We did good though. Got it, the first boss below half health. There we are. Choose your reward. We can select a reward. We can unlock the sacrificial altar. Allows you to sacrifice workers to obtain powerful relics. Or the hero tower. Enhances the spell damage of hero spells. Look, I haven't... I'm drinking tea. Of course I'm not going to go for the sacrificial altar. If this was a Dark Aavak run, that would be a different story. That being said, I still think the hero tower is the better tower of these two, but that choice is decidedly better than some of the ones that we could have been given. We have unlocked the brewery, the trading post, and the statue. All of these have been unlocked through meta progress. We can have a look at them. So the brewery, brews beer to supply the tavern. That is rather obvious. The hero tower enhances spell damage. We've already seen that. Where is the... there we are. Statue. Strengthens tower types. You can use the statue to buff a single tower type. We've also got the trading post. Trade your resources at changing prices. So it's a market. We can, if we've got a wealth of one resource but a dearth of another, we can exchange them, but you accrue trade taxes, and there's lots of taxes in this game, but it's also a way of passively generating gold, which is actually very, very nice indeed. We've got 272 honor, completed wave 9. We didn't have a high score before, and now this is overwritten my leaderboard position because it doesn't overwrite the leaderboard the first time you play after a reset. It kind of keeps the old one. But let's go to unlock perks. Now, here is the real meta progression. There's a lot of things to do in here, but my strongest recommendation is Eternal Glory should be maxed out. Increases the honor per wave and boss kill. Increase the means of you making the means of you increasing other things in the future. You know, use your money to make your money make you more money. And then you can use your freshly made money on other things. That's the way I look at it. There's lots of different things we can unlock though, and there are many, many good things to spend on. But my personal first spend, and always first spend, is on maximizing Eternal Glory. Then you can increase Shield Wall if you really want to, but we lost to a boss, so it isn't necessary. Increases the choice of legendary relics that boss drops by 1 to by a little bit from 1 to 2. Right now, I think you just get a single choice. It's just a relic. You click on the boss drop. Once you've defeated them, they'll drop a chest. It'll have a relic inside, and that relic will be whatever it gives you. But if you improve the giant slasher, you'll have a choice of them. Do we have anything else we can afford there? Twist of Fate. Some extra reroll choices. That's not really what I would like. Start the next game with +1 worker. Very solid choice. Start the game with extra wood, stone, or gold, or wheat. Is there anything down here? We could get Generational Triumph. Receive 5, 10, 15% spell damage for each boss skill, so your spells just progressively get more powerful, or the statue's bonus is increased by 5%, 10%, or 15%. Well, we haven't really played with those, so I'm not going to grab that just yet, but Heritage, I think we can all understand, is going to be quite powerful from the beginning. Now, with that done, we can play again. Look, this is one of my first tastes. We're not going to be doing just one run, 35 minutes. There we are. We're going to do a proper deep dive. Though, if you don't have more than 35 minutes, well, that's what I've shown is basically the game. It gets harder as you progress. The enemies get more and more health. The path gets longer. More enemies are spawned. But with Honor, you will unlock more tower types, and those are unlocked permanently once they've been unlocked at all. And also, you unlock more meta progress. But if you have got a bit more YouTube watching time in you, then buckle up, grab yourselves another tea, and we'll dive into the next run more or less straight away. Now, choose your starting bonus. This is based on what wave you got to. If you die really early on, you'll only get 1 or 2 rather choices. If you die a little bit further in, you'll get 3. If you have a certain unlock, you can get the 4th. Alright, all banners in the first banner choice are at least rare. Gain 40 wheat from the get-go. Gain 120 stone and plus 30% HP for enemies in the first 10 waves. That would include the boss. No. I will, in fact, take this. Now, there is difficulty, but we have to unlock those. We're currently on normal mode, and I think the first difficulties that unlock get progressively easier, so you can just have a more chilled, relaxed time. But we're going to grab this one. Seems like the obvious one for us to go with. There we are. Now then, we've got new buildings that we can build. We've got the hero tower from the get-go. I can just invest some cash into that. I'm not going to. That would not be the right move in my personal opinion. What we will do, though, is we are immediately going to hire an extra worker. That brings us up to the 4 that we can have right now until we expand that out a little bit. Got the tavern there. We've also got the trading depot. Now, we want to place down at least 1 tower. Let's place down a nice, powerful lightning tower right there. Solid first move, in my opinion. This will remember the settings. Now, those settings are now locked in. They will automatically be applied to every tower that I build of this type. So you just gotta find what your normal is and then lock that in, and then just make some adjustments here and there. For you, probably going to be fire rate, because you're going to be here to thin out the herd, as it were. If anything gets this far, I want it to just be killing the chaff as quickly as you can, because each chaff, again, whether it's got 100 HP or 1 HP, will still take the same amount off this. So kill the easy ones to kill as a priority. Next up, I can either get the tavern, so I'm going to get a little bit more resources, or we go for the trading post, and that is exactly what we're going to be going for. And then I'm immediately going to be buying a trading ship. A trading ship will generate 5 gold straight out the gate. It's perfect. Wonderful, in fact. I will invest in... Now, I could have gone this, and there is an argument to be made there, but I'm also going to go with tax burden. So that gives us 9 gold coming in straight away, and that is a big upgrade for us. Now, I want everyone working on wood for the time being, and I'm going to place a tower just down here. The only thing you do is, once again, go for low health. Just try and wipe those out. And once again, fire rate. These 2 towers are here to just eat up the chaff. And with that, now that you've had a good idea of what the game's going to be like, we can probably play on the maximum speed for the whole thing. Right, banner choice in 2 waves time. I'm not going to place down a mortar tower until I have a good idea of what I'm looking at. But I will, I think, place another tower right here. Once again, exactly the same. Just want it to thin out the herd. These 3 towers now will be there to just do chaff deletion. As for our gold spending, now it's going to pretty much be the economy. That's where I'm going to be investing the majority of my efforts moving forward. Do I want to grab stone already? I'm going to need it if I want more lightning, so yes. Okay, and we're going to move those across. Now, if you have a look in there are upgrades, and that is like Oak Crasher. We'll get a little bit more per person working there, and Granite Grip. Gonna have to wait for the next turn to do that one, but it's a solid one to go for. Right, let's explore. Now, seeing the way that this path is branching, might be worth me popping down a volcano mortar in there. Not guaranteed yet. I'm not entirely sold on it, but I am going to invest a little bit there. We are next going to upgrade you. Put a little bit. Actually, I should have gone for the cheaper upgrades. The first one, it isn't as painful that I made that mistake, but it's a little bit painful. We will start accruing some wheat right now. There we go. Let's expand outwards. Okay, no, that is going to be a perfect place for me to put a tower. Now, all of these are lightning towers. Okay, so arc tower critical hits, not from jumps, but slightly increase this tower's individual future crit chance. So every time you crit, you become more likely to crit. That's actually quite a nice one. As you can see, that will snowball. Opening blitz, arc tower hits deal increased damage against enemies with more than 70% of their health. That's a good amount of damage too. Or adds extra jumps to the arc tower, minimizing the damage decrease after each jump. So it would reduce the damage lost by 3% per jump and would increase the jumps by 1. I think this is an obvious one for us to take. There is very rarely going to be a time when that would not be the right choice, in my opinion. Now, that might be a better place for me to put something, but I really would like a mortar here. So I'm going to place that down. We're going to lock that in for now. The current setup is perfect, and I would like you to upgrade range for the time being. That should be okay. Now, given that, I'm actually going to upgrade that and then pause, just so I can see what's happening. Yeah, no, that's good. This going here would be perfectly fine, though. Would that be better? Scarcely a difference. This actually might be the better place for it. All right, yeah, I'll pop that in. We will lock this in, and I'm going to start upgrading range on it. Sure, that will work. Right, unpause. As you can see, already starting to thin them out very aggressively there. Very nice indeed. Very, very nice indeed. I'm going to need to upgrade you in a moment. We've got 21. Time for me to start investing in increasing my economy. I would like 45 down here. That has gone down because of the gold spend. And this has this changed much? No, it's these that will change. It's the cost per worker. We're going to let that build up a little bit more. I would like another tower though. And where would be best? This entire run or this one? Now you can calculate it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 tiles. Or if I had it over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 straight out the gate. So this is the better place for this tower initially. So I'll go ahead and pop it there. But this one, I now want you to start focusing on... Oh, these are all over the place now. So let's just make sure that they're focused in the right way. I want you to start taking care of the high health. And actually on that note, also want that here. There we are. If we have a look down there. Yeah. Health, then group, then speed. In that order. Right, now we'll start expanding out. Now, with the upgrades that we've got, I haven't touched on one of the really nice features of the upgrades with the towers, because there is a little bit of extra beyond the normal upgrade. I'll just pick our hero first. Building upgrade cost down by 10% and enemy elite chance up. Trading ship cost down by 40%. This was very hard to say no to. Generally speaking, unless there is an amazing choice, and this is kind of there, I will always pick the one with the trading ship decrease. These aren't amazing spells. Devastation and Ice Strike we've already seen. Arcane Explosion, though. This is a good spell. This is actually one of the better ones. Deals 165 damage within the radius, but gains 1% spell damage every time it's cast. If we choose this hero, we want to use all of our spell energy every turn. Then Arcane Strike. Wow, okay, so even without the trading ship cost, I probably would have gone with this hero just because of this is such a good synergy. Deals 180 damage within the radius, and spell damage counts 2 times. The spells over here, okay, we've seen them, but this has to be the choice. Manual, welcome aboard. Now, one thing. Every time you get an upgrade for a tower, you may have noticed it in the last run, it adds a little number there letting you know how many times you've gotten a banner for that tower. If you get 9 banners for a single tower type, that tower type can get an elite upgrade, and it's a very powerful, unique to that tower. I think there may be 1 or 2 choices for it. It might be a little bit more, but I've only ever gotten to that point once, and I've only had a single option at the time. So I don't know how many options there are. But up the top there, you'll notice available tower fusions. Now what happens is if you've got 2 tower types that each have 3 banners, they can fuse with other applicable towers. So in this case, a lightning tower can fuse with a volcano tower, an arrow tower, or a frost tower. And this will allow those towers to gain fusion buffs, fusion effects. For example, an arrow might become electrical. Arrows fired from the arrow tower might have an electric arc jump effect. I believe one of the possible fusions, because there's multiple potential fusions for each tower pairing. A lightning tower fused with a volcano tower can leave electric fire on the ground. Don't ask. It's just pretty amazing. So that is something that we can aim for. And one of the reasons why you don't want too many towers down in the beginning, because it's going to make it a lot harder for you to create a fusion like that. Now, we don't quite have enough to get the reduction again, but trading ships, of course, let's get more and more gold coming in every single turn. That is going to be the best thing for us. As for down here, you know what? I'm going to pop you over there for now. We want a little bit more wood as soon as we can. There we go. Loads of damage being dealt now. And because the lightning tower is also targeting groups, we've got a legendary also targeting groups. The mortar tower, which then is targeting groups, has got even better chance of doing some extra damage. This is amazing. Legendary Chain Echo adds extra jumps to the arc tower attacks, minimizing damage decrease after each jump. This would add an extra 3. Currently, the lightning bolt jumps to 2. It will jump to 5. And nearby targets, deal 73% of the original damage. This would increase it up to 81. Let's go ahead and grab that. That is bonkers good. Absolutely wonderful. Now then, with that in mind, where would we like to place a tower, and what kind of tower do we want to place? We've got gold on that tile, so we can't quite take it. This one might not be terrible. That one also might not be terrible. Have we got any good positions for a mortar? I think this one would be very nice, actually. So sure, we're going to place this one down. Much the same as that one. Don't really need to change anything. Do I want more range? Yes. I think range would be a good upgrade for you. And we'll place down an arrow tower. I could have one over here anyway, just because of the branch there. It's a pretty solid place to put an arrow tower. That being said, well, no, I don't want 2 arrow towers right next to each other. They'll start firing on the same things, which is a problem. Actually, over here isn't terribly bad. Still, I like the bend there. So we'll grab you. I would like you to be changed up. There we go. Go for the high health, thin them out a little bit. And increasing range over here will add quite a lot of tiles, because if we can get down there or down there, we're going to get quite a few. So go ahead and increase range for a little bit. Let's check back in on our original towers. How are we doing? I would like you to be up to one shot a second, ideally. Same with you, and then we'll switch over to different things. So nothing needs to change down there. You are doing pretty amazingly with your range. Do I need to increase that any more than 10? I'm going to say no. Switch over to damage now, because this increases it by 30 a pop, which is pretty amazing. As for ranged over there, yes, getting a little bit more range here would be fantastic. Let's try and take that all the way up to 10. As for you... I think we're going to go for fire rate for you. Yeah, I think we'll go with fire rate there. Okay, we've got a little bit more cash. Got 32 gold in the bank. Let's go ahead and increase the tax burden. I'm sorry, peasants. I really am. But look, this gold is going to defend the kingdom. Also, I am fairly certain I forgot to use my spell. Ah, what a silly sausage I am. Several times. Even after talking about how great it was. Ah, man. There we go. YouTuber blindness. There we go. We're going to start building that up. There we go. The rest of this should be good. And since I just want to use it anyway, I may as well use it at the end. If you absolutely know that you're going to kill the last enemy without a spell, just double click them anyway. As long as you cast the spell, that's all that matters with those. Right. Let's have a look. Can I afford another ship? That'll be 50. However, I think I would like to get a larger house now and start investing in procreative power. Let's reduce you, pop you back across there, start building that up. Right, let's go a little bit further. Got some nice bends, twists and turns around here. Let's get one there. And that one is far too tempting. There we go. Thinned out the chaff quite a lot there. Wonderful damage output over here. There we go. No bleed though, which is a problem. So we don't have any sustained damage once the arrow towers have managed to hit them, but it's okay. Right, we can unlock the runestone tower. For those of you who, again, are familiar with the rogue tower, this is basically your obelisk pyramid, finger of Nod, whatever. It's a giant tower that shoots laser beams, okay? It is ridiculously fun to play, but there are some caveats in its use. It is not always the right choice. I know, shocking, but it's true. Requires gold and requires stone, so that's going to be the next upgrade, and it's going to thin our tower upgrades out a little bit more, which is itself a problem. We could upgrade this a little bit. No, I'll just invest there because I can get another worker straight away. There we go. And that other worker can immediately help me getting more and more grain. This will be a big help. Actually, how about we invest in more wood, in fact, because I'm going to want some more towers up further along the path. That is an awful one. Sometimes you get tiles like this. This entire tile upgrade has only added 4 extra tiles, really, of space for attacking things, and a massive amount of dead space. It sucks a bit, but oh well. Let's pop you, and once again, try and get all of you about there. That'll do. Right, so at this point, my spell damage is 16%, which is actually quite nice. Now, the arc towers are doing an amazing job. That branch is doing fantastic work. If it weren't for that, we would have been in quite a lot of trouble there. Critical hits will slightly increase individual crit chance. Very nice. Very, very nice indeed. Or I can increase the jumps even further. 3 will go to 4. Jump damage 8 to 9%. Or I can re-roll. Do I want another one in the arc tower? I kind of like the idea of the crit chance increase, but I would love bleed if I could get it. Okay, I haven't got bleed, but this is the effect that I was looking for when we got the circular attack on the volcano towers. This is the only thing that makes that, in my opinion, worth having. The volcano mortar causes burn on impact and ignites the fields it hits, causing additional burn stacks per hex field crossed. Stacks at impact 8, stacks per hex field 4, and its field duration is 4 seconds. This is going to leave a burn on the ground, and it makes it incredibly powerful. Right, but we do have the opportunity now to add a runestone tower. They are fantastically short range, as you can see. These will they deliver a lot of damage, and it's sustained damage. It's a laser beam, and it locks on and then just keeps inflicting damage the whole time it's there. What we want, though, is the right spot, and they are very difficult to come by. There wouldn't be terrible. However, I think that one might be the right place. Over here wouldn't be bad. It's got quite a few tiles, actually. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Whereas over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And some range increases will push that even further. I think we put it here. Right, let's have a proper look at this one. So, in terms of its upgrades, you don't get a lot of damage out of damage upgrades because it's applying this 7 times per second. Range is hard to upgrade. Fire rate adds 1.4 ticks per second. So really you want to be focusing on fire rate with these towers. We will have that as our upgrade, but I am going to spend some cash the first time to increase this manually. There we go. Now, the way I want this to work, this is where focus until death starts to come in. Now, right now, not as necessary for us, but later on this is going to become incredibly important. But this is the first tower where I'm going to tell it specifically, focus on elites. Once you find an elite or a boss, focus that. After that, I want you to focus on the lowest health one. So if there's 2 elites, focus on the one that you're going to kill the fastest. And then pretty much, well, actually, okay, so the thing about most towers have a certain thing that they excel at in terms of types of enemies they're great against. The Runestone Tower ignores barrier. Barrier is a shield that soon-ish we're going to start seeing enemies have. A barrier carrier has a bubble shield around it, and then attacks on any enemy under that bubble shield will hit the shield. You've got to destroy the shield before you can actually damage them. The Runestone Tower doesn't care. Laser shoots what it pleases, and as a consequence, I generally feel it's a good idea to go for the barrier carrier. If you're not targeting an elite, aim for someone carrying a barrier, and if you're not doing that, aim for someone carrying a spawn that can spawn minions. Take them out as fast as you can, and if not, then whoever's in front. But when you lock on for good. There we go. Now, that does mean, well, actually, what I will say is, you know what? No. There are reasons why you would use this, but in this particular instance, we're about to have a boss wave, and the reason why I'm not going to turn that on is, let's say an elite was in front of the boss. It entered the range of this tower first, and so the tower locked on, and it had like 1,000 HP. It would take to about there, or somewhere around here, for it to kill that elite. In that time, the boss is now here. It could have been fighting the boss the entire time. So, instead, I'm actually going to tell this one, aim at the boss or elite with the most health, and then aim for any barrier carriers. That's the order of attack, and we will use that for all of those towers moving forward. Next up, let's place down just one more little bit of something. We'll get another tower over here, perhaps. Right there, sure. Want you to focus on high health first, fast, then least block. And yeah, if we can get range up a little bit, you'll be able to reach everything over there as well. So it'll be a pretty solid place to put it. Now then, at this point, I'm actually going to hold on to the spell that I've got for the boss specifically. We're going to slow things down. Right. As you can see, Runestone Tower doing amazing work, just jumping between them, going for the ones with the most health. And so it's just thinning all of them out really aggressively. But the second this boss gets in there, and the mortar tower doing a good bit of damage there. Right, I want you to switch over to the boss, please. There we go. Right. Want this to land on you right there. And again. There we go. That's the best help that I could give you. We've already pulled it down past a quarter of the way. But now it's just down to whatever towers I've still got. Now, a couple of those Runestone towers can be amazing, and oh my lord, some of the upgrades that they can have make them shockingly good. Think Prism Tower from Command & Conquer Red Alert. There we go. Now, how much? Yeah, you're down below half health. There is a chance. There is a small chance that we manage this. We'll see. Come on. Keep it up. That fire is doing some amazing work. Are we going to do it? We did! Hooray! I really wasn't certain, I'm not going to lie. All right, we've got some boss chests. So first, we get a banner reward. Runestone towers that... Oh, okay, so talking about prism towers. We'll have a look at that next. Crit chance of arc towers also increases its crit damage to a certain amount. The power of the runestone tower is distributed across 3 beams to attack different enemies. Now, if there's only one enemy, all 3 beams won't converge on it, I don't believe. It'll only be ever 1 beam. But the damage of the beams is reduced to the value specified below, so you will actively get a little bit more damage out of the tower by doing this. But prism. Now, I believe boss rewards are always legendary. The runestone towers that are inactive can beam to another specified runestone tower within their radius and transfer a percentage of their own damage, plus 70% of any bonus prism damage that tower is receiving from others behind it. This would transfer 41% of its damage. Now, that by itself is pretty cool. Imagine a line of prism towers, like some massive chained electron gun, just powering up from all the way back at the shield, just traveling all the way down so that the end tower is some ridiculous obelisk of death. Now, what if I told you, as you've already noticed, you can take an upgrade multiple times. You can 100% transfer more than 100% of the tower to the next one in the chain. This scales so ridiculously. It's obscene. It's obscene. Now, it does take a lot of work to get up to it, because how often are you going to get this level up, especially when you've got a lot of towers? We're probably already past the point where we could make that happen. But if you can get this tower using banishes and the likes to make sure that this is about the only upgrade you get for the runestone tower, you can just make the most obnoxious death ray that can just instant gib bosses. It's got that much strength. We will be taking that because it's cool. Right, as for our reward, for each type of the listed debuffs the target already has, adding a new burn, bleed, or weakness increases its duration by 2 additional seconds, or hex fields give 10% damage per height level. So in addition to their range, they get a little bit stronger. I think that one is the best one for us by far and away. Right, okay. Now, with that, how much are we going to need for this? I'm going to need quite a lot of stone for that, unfortunately. Okay, so that's probably a little bit outside of our reach for now. Gold-wise, can we upgrade? No, we can't. But can I upgrade a ship? I, in fact, can. This will increase it up to 12 gold. So we're now bringing in 22 gold a turn, which is actually pretty nice. I think we can all agree. Though, at this point, I'm going to pop you down on stone. To get that, I'm going to need a little bit more, in fact, so let's pop you there as well. That will get me another runestone tower. Now, the problem with runestone towers is they only transfer it within their radius, which means that, well, exactly what you think it means. I can only transfer it to a tower within this ring. So you have to really invest a fair bit of value to get the towers to be able to chain properly, but there's nothing stopping you from having a tower there, just chaining together to this one that can actually attack things. That is absolutely a viable way to play it. Right, at this point, yeah, the rogues have 700 HP. Unpleasant, I say. There we go. And you've got 2000 HP. But we will continue to increase our damage percentage. It's very nice indeed. And the fire over there doing some amazing work. This has increased because of its the tile that it's on. This one is increased quite a lot based on the tile that it's on. There we go. That was a very nice little fight. We can now unlock the Tornado Tower. Actually a really good one. Again, using the Rogue Tower comparison, this is like the Sawblade Tower. It produces an attack that follows the path backwards for a little while, doing damage the whole way. Now, if we have a look at the towers we've got, we will notice a couple of things. The Mortar Tower can actually merge with the Runestone Tower, so can the Arrow Tower, and so can the Lightning Tower, as it happens. The Lightning Tower can merge with the Mortar Tower. We already saw that with the Lightning. But Runestone can merge with Mortar, Freeze, and Tornado. Given that, I think we're going to place a tornado right about here. Now, if we have a look at this, the tornado tower shoots tornadoes which travel along the enemy path and inflict damage on any opponent they hit. There is no reason that I can think of not to have this tornado start at the furthest point that it can, because then it'll hit the most enemies moving backwards. So I always just switch it to progress being the only thing it cares about. We will then lock that in. Now, range-wise, we can get a modest range upgrade, and that does help. But I think our fire rate is extremely poor. Damage is not too bad. But for this tower in particular, I think crit chance is one of the better ones to go for. Just increase its crit possibility. As for the runestone tower, now that one cost a lot of stone. We're going to need to invest quite a lot again to get more stone for another runestone tower, but that's okay. We could increase its range a little bit more. But realistically, well, actually, it wouldn't be too bad if I could get it all the way over there. Maybe. How much would that cost me? Maybe 2 more investments. Yes. Okay. So this now reaches as far as that. So I could put another runestone tower there, and it would have a little bit of extra oomph. I could tell them to target different things. Now, there is one trick with the runestone tower. We'll cover it if I actually get to the point where I can make that happen. Oh, we've got a little island there. They will select which side to go more or less randomly. Drop that here, drop that there. There we go. But one of the caveats with the transfer is that each tower is still independently targeting. They only transfer their power if they are otherwise idle. So having 2 towers along the route, both combining, isn't always the smartest move, because if it should see something that it wants to connect to, it will stop transferring its power, and that might be the only thing that's making your current configuration work. Let's reroll, see what we can get. I wouldn't mind that. I can increase it up to 59. Increase the damage for each second. That is so good. This has to be the one we take. Increasing the damage for each second they continuously attack the same target. We are locking that in, and we are now telling you to focus until death, because it makes the most sense in the world for that to be how you're going to engage from this point forward. Right, we've got 2 lightning towers down there. Have we got a particularly nice spot around here? That one is quite nice. We've got some very nice major upgrades around there, but this right there, that would be a good for a runestone. Let's see. That one's fairly solid. I'm very guilty of not counting these right now, but I think I'm going to place this here. Sure. Are we going for the weak ones? I'm going to say no. Go for the strong. There we are. And would I like to increase range? A little bit, actually, because I could get range down there, then I could catch them before the branch as well. So we'll focus on range for the next little while. There we go. Now that I've built that, I really do need to save up for the runestone tower. That being said, I could always just upgrade that as well, but we'll hold off on that one for now. Gold-wise, I can increase economy budget, and not quite next turn. You can get the next upgrade, as that will pull this down even further, and we can get another worker as well. Okay, right, well with that then, let's open things up, and I'm going to slow things down so you can properly witness the effect of the tornado this time. Right, let's get a little bit of extra damage. There we go. We're now up to 32% spell damage. There we go. Tornado spawned. Doesn't last for a hell of a long time, but once we've got the crit potential up nice and high, it's going to be really, really damaging. There we go. It's locking on, and it's taking them out. It's locking to the highest health when it can. There we go. That one is blocking. Notice that they are dodging the laser beam, which, you know, kind of scary when you think about it, but it isn't immune to block. It's only immune to barrier. Right, as for the fires down here, we're doing okay-ish. Things are getting a little bit further than I would like. I think a tornado tower maybe down here would be a fantastic option as well, just to really thin out the group there. Right, you've finished your job. There we go. Locking on to whoever we can. They managed to stay locked on for quite some time. As you can see, the numbers getting very high there. Also, those towers are fantastic for crit chance, because they're constantly firing, so there's so many opportunities for a crit to occur. Right, let's speed that back up. Right, we've got a level up. First one we've gotten to so far. Now we can choose to upgrade which spell, and you can check it out. When you choose to upgrade a spell, you can choose down 2 paths. So I can have 250 damage, but the spell damage will count 4 times, or 500 damage counted twice. Or down here, I can do the same amount of damage, but now increasing by 2% of spell damage each time I cast it, or 400 damage with 1%. I think we're going to use this as an engine for generating more spell damage. Economy passives. Let's have a look. Each worker generates 1 extra gold per wave. We've got 5. We're about to have 6, which would not be bad at all. So that would bring us up to quite a nice. More spell energy or more spell damage. This would allow me every turn to increase my spell damage by 6%. So it wouldn't take as long to outshine this. As for the tower passives, fire rate of all towers increased. Arc tower damage increase the statue effect. Haven't built it yet. +4 height chance times 2. That is, there's +4 chance that all towers will, a height 4 tile will generate. But I think we're going to go with the jumps. Make our arc towers even more powerful. And I think we pick up spell energy. We're playing the long game here. Playing the long game. Right, with that, have we got enough gold? Scallywags, we're just shy. Just shy a shame. We'll wait one more turn then. Now, I would very much like to get you on the go, but that might take me a little bit of time. I don't need this many people working on this anymore, so let's pop those across to get extra wood available. I may as well grab that now. Pick this up. There we go. Actually, on that note, I can put them back there. Either that or I go for this. I think I'll start increasing the wood a lot because we've got one last little bit we want to get for the trading post. Getting the tower upgrade would be fantastic though, thinking about it. Actually, yeah, let's go all in on stone for the time being then. Right, let's have a look at how this goes. Again, this is going to jump further. Let's pop that down. There we go. And once again, now up to 38% damage. Loving the jumps. Tornado's doing an okay job. There we go. Now, as for you, one of the things I could do over here, actually, we're focusing on elites. We're focusing on high health. Focus on the last in the queue, because we'll get the most. If we've got multiple enemies at this point that I could choose from, choose the one that I'm going to be able to shoot at for the longest. I think that would work better. Now, I'm very concerned about this wave. We had a spawn there. That cluster like that generally only happens when a spawner mob dies and dumps all of its units out. Yeah, there we go. Now then, we can finally get a runestone tower, or we can get another tornado tower, and both are quite good options. But if I were to place, have a look at you, I should be able to place a runestone tower over here. Is there much use in it? Well, that is the question, isn't it? Could place one over here. It would get a little bit of use. Or I could maximize by placing one down on this side. That would get way more bang for buck. We've also now got a new tile. This is a damage tile. So that maximizes the damage quite a lot. And on a runestone tower, that could be very, very powerful. Over here, it makes it more dangerous to barriers. I think maybe another runestone tower over here. As much as I want to combine them, it just gets so powerful to do it this way. That said, I could have this tower connect there. I haven't got a lot of power transfer yet, though. So it's not the most important one. I think instead we're going to place it here. Yeah. Let's grab this. I want to copy that across all of them. And this one, I mean, range is always useful. We could get a little bit more range. Sure. But otherwise, focus on fire rate. Now, with that in position, on the 15th wave, we will get a banner choice, which would be very, very much appreciated. I would like to build a statue, so that's what we're going to save up for the next turn. We are more or less already there. So I can transfer you across, get a little bit more wood coming in. That'll increase our gold income. And everything else should be good. I would love to get a mortar tower somewhere around here. We've got a lot of potentials, but we have got our first branch over here as well. Ah, never mind. The branch is going to recombine. That does sometimes happen, and it's quite good when it does. Right. Let's drop you there. Try and maximize how many enemies I catch with it. There we go. Picking out as much of the chaff as we can. They're having much less health down here, but getting a mortar tower over somewhere around here so that we've got fire being applied would be fantastic. They're still getting all the way down there, which is kind of scary. There we are. Now you might end up causing an eruption. Oh, okay, so some of them you may notice when they die. You're an orc caller. Basically, when it dies, it makes the other enemies around it speed up. Whereas you are an orc general. Spawns minions on death. Thankfully, the arc tower is very, very effective at doing a lot of health damage to a large group. Perk unlocked. Woodworker efficiency. Very nice. We don't have any rerolls. I mean, a 1.2% chance, considering how often they fire, to cause all arc towers hits have a chance to cause a max health focusing lightning strike. So it would hit the enemy with the most health, whether on the field or just within its radius, I'm not sure. 3 arrows each, dealing reduced damage. The fire rate is moderately decreased. So fire rate would go down by 15%, but it would increase the overall output of arch tower damage, but I don't really care for it. I'm going to banish one of these. Do I care to banish any of them though? Actually, no, I don't care to banish any of them. I think I'm just going to pick the lightning tower. There we go. So we've got 3 now for this. So if I can get 3 on mortar or arrow, then this can fuse with them. Now then, I think 'tis time, first and foremost, for us to build this. Let's get the tower in play. We can give Blessings of Wealth, 2% chance for this tower to generate 1 gold on kill. Which tower do I want to give it to? Which tower is getting the most kills? Let's find out. What are the statistics? I would say it's probably my arc towers that are getting the most kills. So let's increase the arc towers' overall damage. There we are. Increase the damage of arc tower by 10%. Let's go. And gold-wise, I mean, I can pop 4 into that. I've already reduced the cost enormously. Oh, actually, no. There's a little bit more to be done there. My bad. I'll pop down trading ship though. Right, there we are. Next turn, I'll get the final economy upgrade there. Now, unfortunately, I can't place another tower. That does suck, but it is what it is. And we've got a nice big gap there. And another one. Now, we will not quite have enough to get the... you can click on enemies at any time to view their attributes and abilities at the top left corner. The villains, for example, have a barrier that protects them and the enemies below from attacks. Right, we'll pause that there then. We might want to change this up. I will say your primary target now then should be barrier and then spawns minions. Actually, let's change this up. Barrier, spawns minions, then finally last. You're going to become a very different tower as a consequence. I weren't able to take them out, sadly. Weren't doing enough damage there. Barrier wielders have managed to get all the way through this. It's going to cause me quite a lot of trouble. What I could do is drop that there, and no, I don't have another one to cast. That's a shame. Okay, the barrier's finally gone, but no, I should have prioritized my runestone towers to aim for the barriers specifically. The current setup was not ideal. Right, choose our reward. Sacrificial altar or oracle allows you to choose risk-reward modifiers for the upcoming waves. We're not at a point where we're producing enough workers to make the sacrificial altar worthwhile, so we're going to go with the oracle, I think. Right, we have unlocked the workshop. This building reduces the tower building cost by 10%. As you can imagine, that's amazing. We've got the All Thing Feast. All Thang? I'm not sure. For 5 waves, your workers gain 30% productivity, increases in price every time. You need to spend that at the tavern. You're going to have a certain amount of wheat. Woodworker efficiency. Reduces the wood cost of tower construction by 10%. Elevated masonry, pretty much the same for stone. And towers of gold. The gold mine reduces the gold cost of towers. So pretty much all the same, but the big upgrade for us over here. We actually got to, it's not a terrible one. 242, spend our honor. Now, at this point, it's a little less clear what would be the best option. The inflation rate for a repeated construction of towers of the same tower type is reduced by 10%. Okay, that's pretty much the obvious one. I lied. It's very obvious which one's the best one. Arcane Flow increases your spell damage by increases hero spell damage by 2% or 5% each 5 waves. That's a pretty solid one. Blessings of Strengthening. The statue's bonus is increased a bit. It took us a long time to get that up and running, though. I'm going to be honest. So I'm not super focused on that one just yet. Increases the tavern's productivity bonus for your works by 10% or 20%. We also didn't build that one this time. Establish trade relations. Earnings from trading ships are increased by 1. This one is very useful. We were using that aggressively. So sure, we'll pick that one up. Right, there we go. All right, let's have a quick look at the time. An hour and 20 minutes. I think we can afford one more to give you a real good taste. And in fact, if you enjoy this game and would like to see a little bit more, if by the end of the video, once you reach it, because you're going to stick with me to the end, aren't you? Yeah, of course you are. You've still got some tea in your teacup. You can't leave before that's empty. If you do want to see a little bit more, though, then do let me know in the comments, and maybe we'll come back, make this into give this a little bit of the mech engineer treatment, a bit of an extended first taste. Right, but we're going to play again. Pretty much the same settings as before. Normal mode. At least one banner in the first banner choice is legendary. No. Minus 50 HP on enemies for the first 5 waves. I don't think we really struggle with that, so I'll just take a chest. Gold would be very much appreciated right out the gate. That was a very easy one for us to pick up. So, we will go with economy budget. Once, twice. We haven't picked up tax burden, but that's fine because we're going to be going with this. Now that I've got that, should be fairly cheap for me to place down. Let's make sure I've got a tower. I'll do the same thing again. Pop down a lightning tower. Well, actually, that being said, this doesn't make that much of a difference, and I could always place a laser tower down here. Actually, yeah, we'll place that down for now. Once again, go for the weakest. That's fine. Now that I've got this, and the remaining wood can be invested. Oh, we were just shy by 1. Ugh, that's vexing. All right. But that does mean that I can immediately invest in stone. Let's get that on the go. And promptly invest a little bit down here. Purchase an extra worker. Get you helping with the stone, because we're going to need 35, which I will have next turn, so I can pop that 4th one over there. Not a terrible start, if you ask me. There are some buildings later on. I've got a bit of a strategy to my opening turn. We're waiting on one building in particular that goes here, and that is basically a bank. And I've got a very, very particular series of upgrades that seem to give me the best opening initially. Right, this should be fairly quick for us, so we're going to speed this along. Don't need that to be any slower. And there we go. We've got our laser tower. Plop you right there. This, however, focus on elites. Otherwise, focus on least health. Go for it in that order. Take out Elise because this will also include bosses. Focus on it until death, and then just wipe out anything. Actually, no, you'll focus on Elise and you'll stick on it until it's out of range or dead. And then after that, just keep jumping around to eliminate whatever's got the least amount of health. Seems like a good option to me. Now then, with that in mind, wouldn't mind a tornado tower right there as well. But for the time being, this is always the same, but beyond that, it starts branching out a little bit. I would like you to focus on... Well, actually, you know what? No, you may as well. Try and thin them out. Continue to thin out wherever possible, you know, along this area. I want you to focus on fire rate. I could get you to focus on range a little bit, but it won't really give me that much. I think fire rate for you is the obvious one. And the same down here. The cleaners at the very end, that's pretty much all I want from them, is to make sure that anything that is low enough on health that it can easily be killed is killed with a quickness. Right, next up, where are we going to place you? I could go for somewhere here, but it depends on how this branches. We want to see that first before we make a decision. Want to increase the ships as fast as we possibly can. So that means getting a little bit more wood, but getting the final tornado tower one more turn, going to be ideal. Getting that down here just to help wipe out whatever's left would be perfect. Oh, this is amazing. Increase the fire rate of towers within the radius of the runestone tower by 7%. The effect to a single tower is capped by 5 auras. Right, okay, that's good to know. So I could only have 5 towers causing this effect. Still, that's pretty solid. Right, where would we want this? Sure, we'll pop that in there. Again, that's in a pretty good space. Do we want range on it? Maybe. But I think for the most part, just crit chance. Just focus on the crits. I could place down an arrow tower just to the far side. I'm not sure it's entirely useful, though. That would probably be better for something like a mortar tower. But an arrow tower right here wouldn't go amiss. There we go. We're going to change these out to high health after that. There we are. And a little bit of range down here wouldn't be bad. We could get it out to about there. Right, with that done, you kind of want to be applying damage constantly because there are quite a few enemies that will have the ability to regenerate. So obviously, you want to nip that in the bud as quickly as you can. Right, we can now get tax burdens, but I'm going to go for the 30 there. Get that as quickly as we can. Need 38 here, so no more towers for the time being. Oh, that is a beautiful curve there. That is absolutely wonderful, actually. Right, now we've got the Oracle Tower. In the next 5 waves, there will be at least 1 tile that contains a branch when exploring new areas, or in the next 5 waves, your tower construction costs are reduced by 25%, but the cost reduction of tower upgrades per wave is no longer applied. Don't like that. In the next 5 waves, there will be almost no branching when exploring new areas. And in the next 5 waves, the chance of chests containing relics is multiplied by 4. We're not going to have a chest. Shame. I'll take this one. Now, as for the mortar tower, solid opportunity there for me to get some early hits in. Sure, let's pop it down. I would like you... Yep, you're pretty much targeting the right things. And would a little bit of range help? Yes, because I could possibly get it all the way out to there. Once I've done that, then I'll switch over to just upgrading damage. Now, unfortunately, still a little bit shy, but we can pick up a new trading ship. I'll do that right now and explore. Okay, that doesn't branch back down that way. It's a shame, but oh well. All right, there we go. Right, who are we taking? 40 gold, 100 wood, not a great amount. Building upgrade costs down by 10%. Tower upgrades, 1 less gold per tower level. Oh, wow. If I'd known that you were going to bring a chest, I should have perhaps calculated that. Flashy T. I guess I'll take you. There we are. What a name. All right. Okay. So with that, got a nice spell there, and then Ice Strike. Not as clear on the best way to use Ice Strike. Not gonna lie, but we'll see. Need 50 here, so another 20. Another one turn will get me everything I need for that one. Runestone Tower in the next turn potentially. We could place that right here. Or maybe here. I want to see how that would work. That might be good enough. Right, we want to start generating a bunch of spell power. There we go. Tornado Towers doing their work. Thank you. Ooh, okay. Arc Tower hits increased damage against enemies with more than 70% health. Or each arrow tower generates wood every wave and strikes with increased damage. We will take it. That'll be very nice. Very nice indeed. Right, Arc Tower or Lightning Tower? Maybe here. Arc Tower does have an awful lot of range. But I could easily put a Lightning Tower down here. In a way, I'm looking for opportunities to feed. We could potentially feed a bunch of runestone towers into a single tower down here, keeping the range quite small, so each one feeds only a little bit of power into it. I'd like to see how that would look. But I think... thinking down here, perhaps, or over here. No, let's go for the lightning tower over on this side then. Pop that in. And then an archer tower as well, perhaps. That's a solid position. This one gets a little bit more opportunity to attack. And remember, each one of these now gives me a bit more wood as well. I think I'll pop it there, though. There we go. I would be happier with you attacking high health enemies. Do I want a bit more range? Yes, I do. Since that range would reach over to that side. As for you... I'm not sure that really matters to me. I think instead I would like you to focus on fire rate. Have I upgraded you? Yes, I have. Have I told you what to do? Yes, I have. Okay, perfect. Right then. Time for the next open. Ooh. Now that is looking exceptionally juicy. If we were very lucky and the entry point is there, that would be crazy good because we could put like a laser tower right here. Look, versatility unlocked. Okay, very nice, very nice. I think that's over here. Versatility. For each different type of tower with at least 5 built towers of its type, 5, 10, or 20 gold is produced per wave. So if I had 5 arrow towers and 5 lightning towers, I would produce 5 gold. Very nice. Right, there we go, though. I could, at this point, add in tax burden. Not necessarily certain that would be the right move, though. I would like to decrease the stone cost of these towers, but instead, I'm going to invest in the amount that I'm generating. And at this point, we're going to build a mill. Invest in that. I'm going to take... well, you out of there. There we go. I need to start building that up so I can get some more workers. Right, the Oracle over here. We can give more rerolls for the next Oracle Choice event. It's not really that important to me, though. Having 1 reroll is good enough for me at the moment. Now, as for mortar towers, I'm really tempted to place this here. There's almost no way that this wouldn't be amazingly useful. But depending on this path, it might be glorious. Ah, no, it wasn't. That's a shame. Okay. Well, that's fine then. Having this there, or even here, would be good enough, I think. Sure. As always, just aim for the main group. Range here? No. I think focus on damage. Just raw damage output, please. Right, let's wait for them to cluster around this little area here. Perfect. And once again. There we are. getting some more consistent damage dealers around over here, and especially a laser tower because of the upgrade. Ooh, oh, almost got through. Very close. Distressingly close, actually. We're going to pick up the wheat because we can grab this. And then with the money I have, grab that and immediately get another worker. Well, that worked out fantastically well, actually. Let's increase the wheat income so that I can get another worker a little bit faster. In fact, if I do this, I will get a worker in the next turn, which is actually perfect for me. All right. Now, that elite was a little bit scary. We are starting to see some very nice potential over here for laser tower shenanigans, though. Maybe a laser tower there, fed by a chain. We'll see. A laser tower there, fed by a chain as well. Could potentially be amazing. Have we got... I'm worried that way too many are getting this far down here. Increase the movement speed of all tornadoes. Ooh. I think we take that. Stormbringer. Right, Oracle effect. In the next 5 waves, spell damage increased by 30%. Next 5 waves, the chance of chests containing relics is multiplied by 4. I think we're going to take this because we've got a boss wave coming up. So I'd be able to leverage my my spell power a little bit more aggressively there. Having another tower over here wouldn't be a terrible option. Again, just to thin things out a bit. This one can go for the lower health. That should be okay. But can I get a stone tower next? Let's drop all of that into stone. We'll be able to get a tornado tower, definitely. A runestone tower, possibly. Depending on the positioning. Runestone tower there wouldn't necessarily be the worst option either. One here with one there branching across, potentially. Or just tornado towers, just to thin things out a little bit more. Would also be quite valid. Another very short path there. Unfortunate. Right. I'm going to wait for you to get within range of the lightning tower and then freeze you. Doesn't activate for very long. I'm not sure we're going to survive this one, unfortunately. Right, let's go for the freeze about here. Go. Maybe no. Unfortunate. We just didn't have the damage output, and I was a little bit concerned about that, if I'm honest. Win some, you lose some. 97 honor there. We did unlock versatility. We could increase rerolls. Would potentially give me a better choice on what we go with. Could have also gone the tavern up. Generational triumph. More spell effect would be useful, but not immediately. Not unless I've got the right types of spells. The first beer production per game consumes 0 wheat. I think instead we simply invest wheat, gold, stone, and wood. Just get a little bit early on. We'll make for much, much stronger waves, I think. All right, and I think we've got enough time for one more. This is probably going to have to be the last one, though. It's one of those games. It's like, one more turn, one more turn. Gain 40 wood, fewer bandits, gain 100 wood. HP of enemies in the first 10 waves is increased by 30%. Absolutely not. Gain 40 wood, I guess. It's not a bad choice. We are promptly going to invest here. And then I would like to open you. Yeah, I think holding that for now. We could comfortably place this down. There we are. And that should take care of everything coming through this way. There we go. That will do. I'll actually lock that in for now. There we go. I want fire rate to be improved. As for... Well, we may as well get a tavern, I guess. Sure. Can I improve this as well? Already up to 30% improvement. Let's get everyone working there. Try and get the most out of my economy. And I will hold on to the arrow tower. No reason to place it just yet. This one tower will be able to carry us for the first couple of waves. Comfortably at that. Right. My bad. I should have invested there. And with that, we're also going to want... I want to save up for it, though. It's only going to cost me one more turn. I should have had that going for the first time, but yeah, one turn. I will knock a little bit off the cost, or, well, actually, no, I think it may actually be much more worth it for me to immediately invest in that. There we go. Open this up. And laser them all. Perfect. 74. Just a little bit shy. And we've only got 11 gold. That's fine. We could start building some more stone, which I think we should. Also, a little bit of gold spent on both of these, nice and early. And once more. I'm not seeing anywhere that would be good for another runestone tower, sadly. Increases the damage for each second they continuously fire. 12% per second is pretty nice. Now, given that I haven't had an opportunity to find another solid location, next turn we will have enough for another runestone tower. There is a possibility that we find one. Let's hold out for it. Oh, that was unfortunate. Exceedingly unfortunate, actually. We don't have any spells to use here, but that's okay. The next 5 waves, your tower construction cost? No. There will be almost no branching. Okay, I'll take that. That's not a terrible one to go with. All right, we are now at the point where I absolutely need to commit. One way or t'other. One way or t'other. I am going to get another trade ship. Right, I'm going to explore and immediately pause. There we go. That's what we wanted. Something like that is perfect. Once again, actually, no, you can go for high health after the first. And that reduces the amount of chaff that's going to get down here for my other runestone tower to take on. Perfect. Tower upgrade cost, chest, very low branching, building upgrades, trade ship, there we go. And it's one of my favorite spells as well, so we'll take you. Right, runestone towers increase the damage for each second up to 22%. Very nice. This one is focusing on fire rate. This one, I feel, should focus on range, because it has the potential to be an absolutely devastating tower, given just a little bit of a push. Right. With this, we've got 26. We can now afford that one. Perfect. Trade ship's going to need 53. We can get there shortly. Now, at this point, I could invest a little bit in getting some wheat. And there is something to say about that. Actually, I'm going to grab the house. Yeah, we will pull this down a little bit. Oh, we don't have the wood yet. I should have been paying attention to that. That's my bad. Okay, well, we'll continue to work on the stone then. We should be clear with the stone for a runestone tower in a moment. Let's explore, see what we get. Fantastic work from this tower. Absolutely ruining the high health enemies. Leaving very little for this tower to have to deal with. Going well so far. And because I'm not changing them up... Oh, I should be using my spell. This just reminded me. Because I'm not changing them up, we're getting everything focused on the towers right now. Power runestone is distributed. Inactives. A percentage of the spell damage bonus is added to runestone damage. Now, that is nice, but we're going to reroll. See what we can get. Increase the damage. Increase the fire rate of towers within the radius of the runestone tower. One more reroll. Let's see what we can get. There we go. Spell damage bonus is now 12% or increases per second up to 34%. Let's grab that one, the focus rune. Now, another runestone tower is wanted. Some might say necessary. This one could reach all the way over there. We don't yet have the skill that would make that particularly useful yet, though. But another tower down here would be very much appreciated. Let's have a look at you. Yeah, you're focusing on weak. You're focusing on weak. That's perfect. Focusing on fire rate there. I would like your range to increase. There we go. We are going all in, which means that I'm going to get the tower, the statue, so I can buff these towers pretty soon, I think. Let's build you first, and then we're taking one off that, off there, investing everything there for now. Just for the moment. Need to get that tower up and running as quickly as we can. Right, banner choice. Let's see what we can get. Pop. And pop about there. There we go. Nice and easy. Seeing some very nice damage numbers popping up now. There we go. All right. Next wave is wave 8. Got 2 waves. So effectively we've got 2 waves. That's fine. The wheat is increasing, which is good. Can we get tax burden to get a little bit more gold? Or should I go for versatility? There's no point in versatility right now. That wouldn't help me. However, what I can do is increase the amount of wheat that we're bringing in. And also the amount of stone, I would say. Yeah, that is perfect. Getting the stone tower cost down would be great. Also, getting the workshop up and running would be quite nice. So at this point, I think I'll just expand out just a little bit. Ooh, seeing some very nice locations for a runestone tower over here. We're doing well so far. Very well. A couple of high health enemies getting through, which is a problem, but not the worst one that we've seen. Alright, can't place down another... Oh, I should have been using my spells. Did I use it on the last one? I'm so ditzy sometimes. My lord. Right, let's get this in play. Let's pop in the runestone towers. Extra damage. Very much appreciated. Exceptionally so. Now, to get the next runestone tower needs a lot. So, I am going to say, let's invest there. How much was that? 89. Yeah, we can make that happen. That gold will make it happen. I can use Blessings of Wealth here, since it's the only type of tower that's doing any damage. I know that it's going to be the one that will get the kill. Right, here we go. Let's wait until they're clustered. A lot of weak ones, because that will almost wipe them all out. Not getting the clustering that I would like. Actually, that one's not too bad. There we go. Let's see. Are we at the point now where this is going to be a problem for us? No, I would say we're still okay. For now. Alright, there we go. Now, the inactive towers can branch. 23% damage transfer. We're going to pick it up. Right, in the next 5 waves, your workers will work 20% more effectively, and enemies move 20% faster. Or in the next 5 waves, honor gained is doubled, not applicable to bosses. A shame. No elite enemies will appear. You know what? That'll simplify the boss attack. So I'm okay with that. Now then, if I were to have a tower right about here, Let's have a look. You can reach there. I could, with a little bit of help, make you reach here, which would mean I could have these 3 towers all dump their energy into this one tower. Alternatively, that tower's doing an amazing job over here. Can it reach? It can reach this side. Would that be worth it? Not really. We've got a good tower potential here, which would be able to be fed from this tower. That might be worth it for me. I will invest. Wants to focus on elites. Yep, much the same way. Focus until death. But you can focus on fire rate only for now. You're going to continue to upgrade your range a little bit, which is going to be great. You're also focusing on range. Perfect. Right. Now then, to get another tower is going to cost a stupendous amount. Way more than I would like. But we can push this along a little bit. Let's see if we can do it. Actually, no, the boss wave is going to be here too soon. Shame. However, does this go into... this is wave 9. Will the next one be wave 9 or wave 10? It is... no, this is the boss wave. Okay. I was going to try and do a little bit of trading, but that's fine. All right. Lightning strike. I'll wait until you're down here and being attacked. There we go. Lightning strike. Lightning strike. Boss is almost dead. Wow. Okay. Never mind. Gamblers. Stave construction. The power of laser beams, everyone. Tesla Tower or Prism Tower. There's only 2 defenses that are ever the right choice. It was true in Command & Conquer, it's true here. Right, a percentage of the spell bonus is added to towers. Inactive can transfer 64% or faster fire rate, because this is also going to be true of any tower that's in range. 12% faster fire rate. No, we have to go with the Prism Tower there. Right. Your towers can no longer receive level ups for the next 4 waves, but all towers receive plus 40% fire rate permanently. 4 waves of no upgrades. I accept. I accept. Whether that was wise or not, we will soon find out, but I accept. Cash-wise, stave construction reduces the construction cost of all village buildings. Now, that is a very, very good opener. Very good opener. I could put a little bit of extra blessings of wealth in there if I really wanted to. We've now got gamblers. It'll reduce the productivity of my workers by 10%, but 3 random workers will receive 60% worker productivity. I don't think it's really worth it. Once you've got the brewery, which is feeding beer into it, this gets much bigger, and then it start to be worth it. But that being said, I've only got 5 workers, so I'd effectively lose what? I would lose 100%, well, basically 1 person's worth of work. Right now, I'm gaining 1.5 persons worth of work, but I would gain a bit over a... Okay, yeah, it is worth it right now. It's worth it for the right now. Right, I need a bit more stone, but not a lot more stone. So for once, I'm going to sell wood. Sell wood. Then buy some stone. How much would that cost? 14. Sadly, no. Can't quite make it. Can't quite make it work. A big sad. All right, well, we'll start in spreading things out again then. All right. But that is going to be stupid powerful when we get the opportunity. Oh, that is a glorious split. Oh, the potential for a branch there is disgustingly good. Greatly approve. Now, I can't upgrade anything, so if it doesn't passively have range to reach, I can't make it have range to reach, which does suck. But right now, this is okay. But it will stop being okay fairly quickly. This costs a whopping 107 and 23 gold. Now, we're going to buy you. I'm then going to pop some workers over here. 72 there. Yeah, let's pop them into the gold mines. We'll have enough to get that next turn. Decreasing the build cost of towers by 10% would be nice, but it's not where we're at. Not where we're at right now. I could sell a bunch of the stone, actually. I could afford to sell like 30 stone. How much would that net me? I wanted to sell 30 stone. 18. All right. Now, inflation level. Next turn, this is going to go up by 1. Trading increases the buy price and decreases the sell price for the next 3 waves by 1. If trading takes place again within that period, inflation increases again by 1 up to a maximum of 3. If there's no trading for 3 waves, inflation falls back down to 0, no matter how high it got. So, oh, did I buy? Oh, I bought the stone. What a silly sausage. It's a thing that happened, and I refuse to apologize. I'm just gonna feel really, really dumb for a while. Yeah, that was a garbage trade. That was awful. Oh, my lord. Okay, well, I don't need you there at all then, and I can instead invest completely over there. Right, let's see. Okay, they don't really go anywhere particularly good for me. Let's pop you there. Grab you. You're thinning out the herd a bit over there. You're taking down the highest damage. Oh, they're starting to leak. Okay, this is the point where we really needed that extra. But it's okay. Increase the damage up to 46. I'm going to get rid of this one. Well, actually, no. I guess we could keep it. Spell damage increase by 12%, or increase the mounting damage by up to 46% per second. That's kind of huge. But transferring even more power is way better. So let's grab that. Right, we're going to see that happen for the first time now. Assuming this can reach. I hope it can. I might be safer to put this there instead. Alternatively, I can place a tower right here. Get them as they're coming around. Or one there, but I'm thinking... Realistically, you don't want to just dedicate one to it because it's not transferring an entire tower's worth of power yet. Later on, that becomes much more useful. But right now, it's not quite there. So instead, I'm going to place this over here. And I want you to focus on high health. There we go. That will help. Now, stone-wise, we're going to need 125 to get the next one. And next turn, we will likely be able to, I think the effect will run out. 2 more waves to go. So, a little bit further to go. Right. We haven't quite got enough to get that on the go yet. Nor that. Actually, Oak Crusher wouldn't be a bad one. And given we've got a little bit of time then, let's start reinvesting across here. There we go. Well, hopefully that's going to be enough. We'll find out shortly. Where are you going? Another split. Ooh. Okay. There we are. They're helping, definitely, but could certainly do with a little bit more help. We'll wait and see what gets around here. Decent amount there. Alright, we're currently down to 7 out of 10 points. Ooh. The speed increase was a problem there. Down to 1 life point. 1 HP is the only HP you need. Let's grab you. Upgrade spell damage. Spell energy, definitely. Oh, base productivity plus 10% would not be a terrible one. Yes. Right, runestone crit chance, runestone fire rate, runestone damage. Fire rate. Absolutely fire rate. This is firing 14 times per second now. Is this where I have to place down a new tower? It might actually be where I have to place down a new tower. That is a shame. Let's increase the amount of gold we're bringing in just by a little bit. If we survive this wave, then we get one... we'll be able to set up the tower branching. But to survive this wave might require that we muddy things. Raven Tower here is basically a sniper. This makes things permanently weaker. Weakness in front of the beams would probably save our butts right now, so I think this is where we muddy things. Now, sensibly, I want this weakness to be applied as they're approaching the tower, and I want it to apply to the same things the tower is going to apply, going to attack. So, we want this to attack these, and it doesn't really matter what else beyond. Now, fire rate, we can increase quite heavily, so we'll set that up for that one, but we need a little bit more money to get another one down. Let's go ahead and trade something. We've got plenty of wheat. How much? A little bit more money. We need a little bit more than that, unfortunately. Is there anything I could trade to get? There is nothing I could trade for that money. That's a shame. All right, well, I could also place down a lightning tower to help thin the herd a bit. But this is where I really start to struggle to get the upgrades that I would want for the runestone tower. However, if I don't do this, there is a good chance we don't get to see the runestone tower work at all. So this is worth more to me right now. Yeah, let's go with that and see what we can see. There we go. Far less is getting through now. Mono towers are very powerful builds, but getting the debuffs, especially weakness, is really, really potent. Oh, that's a problem. You're going to be an issue, aren't you? And we only need one of them to get through. Okay. Do I have nothing left? I have nothing left. Wow. Damn it. Oh, well. Choose your reward. We can get the lighthouse. Now, this one really opens up the game because it lets you send your workers out on missions. I will select that one. Got 136 honor. And... is there anything in particular that I would like to invest in? I could invest in a little bit more gold or wood to start the round with, but I think the tavern was doing okay. We can't. Sadly, we don't have enough to get that one. That's a bit of a pain. Oracle of Statue. We could increase the tower's effect. Sure. There we go. But I think that's where I'm going to have to wrap up this possibly first question mark episode of Nordhold. I hope you have enjoyed. you can go a decent ways further. I think the last wave is 25 or 30. It might be wave 30 is the final you've beaten the game kind of wave, and then it goes into endless mode. So you can just keep on building out, but you won't get any more tiles beyond that point. You eventually get like endpoint terminuses for the paths. Sadly, I wasn't able to showcase how that worked, but if you've played Rogue Tower, it's exactly the same way. If you manage to curl the path in on itself so it has no valid exit point, then you just get like an enemy camp, and that explains where the spawning is coming from. And much the same way, if you run out of tiles because you've reached the end level, then all of the tiles eventually just terminate in bandit camps. But that is gonna be it from me. I really do hope you have enjoyed, and if you did, then do let's send algorithms know by massaging those lovely buttons down below, and maybe we will see a little bit more of Nordhold in the future. And if we do, let me know in the comments what kind of builds you would be interested in seeing. We tried somewhat of a mono build here with the runestone towers, and probably if I had placed them a little bit differently, perhaps gotten to the chain together upgrade a little bit sooner, then we might have been able to punch a little bit further. But it is a very, very potent build once it gets off the ground, but then that could probably be said about every build once it gets off the ground. It's just how long it takes. Nevertheless, thank you once again. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. But until then, do take care.